Here, here. Live on Facebook. Hey, Laura, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Deb. I mean, this is going to be a great weekend in the Chicagoland area. It's going to be up in, I think, the 60s. So, TGIF, it's Friday, friends helping friends.
That, that is
I,
right. Well, hey, no, sorry. Go ahead.
no, we're so excited
I
today. So
know.
that's
We,
why we're trying to talk over each other. We have such a great subject today.
I know, Laura. Help us out and tell us what it is, because I think
Okay,
that
well,
you and I, this is a great one.
we are going to talk about courage. And I was going around my condo here looking for like a cape to wear, like a Batman cape or something. But I want you guys to think of this, okay? When you think of courage, well, the first thing I thought of was the cowardly lion from Wizard of Oz. You remember he wanted courage? I think of past movies, Rocky, you know, Jesus Christ. He was the number one of courage. Martin Luther King, Amelia Earhart. There's so many of them. And as we're talking today, I kind of want you guys to think in your head of people that you admire that had a lot of courage. And I'll explain to you at the end what I would like you to do as an exercise this week. But something courage is something everybody wants. And it's an attribute. I can't even say the word attribute. You know what I mean? Attribute to our good character that makes us worthy of respect. From Bible to fairy tales, ancient myths, and Hollywood movies, our culture is rich. I can't talk today, with exemplary tales of bravery and self-sacrifice. Bible, Star Wars, Harry Potter. I mean, our children we were all raised with a diet of all kinds of inspirational tales, you know, and yet courage is not just a physical bravery. History books tell colorful tales of social activists such as Martin Luther King, we just talked about, Nelson Mandela, and who choose to speak out against injustice or great personal risk. Entrepreneurs, Steve Jobs. I mean, Walt Disney. They took financial risks because they had the courage to do something they dreamed of. So we're going to go over some points right now and about some stuff that goes with courage. And again, in the same time, I want you to start thinking of people that you admire the most for courage. And like I said, I'll talk to you at the end of what we could do for an exercise. Okay, Debbie, with that, you want to talk about one of the first things?
Absolutely. We're gonna bounce back and forth subject to subject here, because this is gonna be fun, because you can get everybody has a different take on certain things in a certain way that affects them, and a certain way that we can actually explain it. And so, courage is about doing what you're afraid to do. We talked about being afraid and fear and everything previously, but there can be no courage unless you're scared. Okay, have the
Right.
courage to act instead of react, and go for it. Okay, if you have a dream or you have something you want to do, people talk about their bucket list. Okay, they talk about stuff
Yeah.
like that, what they want to do, still with their life, whether they're very young or very old. you know don't sit back and try to think, should I or shouldn't I? Don't regret it. Go for it. Just have the courage to get up and get it done. And if you fall back and fail, so what? Okay, it doesn't really matter, just because you'll never know if you don't do it. So, yeah, it's basically feeling fear yet choosing to act is basically what we're kind of covering. So, with that, Laura, what's your take on that?
Well, I even think of courage as like you said, you get up and so what, you fail, you get up tomorrow and you can start over again. That's kind of like diet. You have to diet. You have to have courage to go and change your life to be better, as far as that is concerned. But, courage doesn't have to be this big grandioso thing. It could just be something that you just had in your head and you think about and you think about it and you kind of grow with it. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to go and conquer the world, or I'm going to learn how to speak Italian in a week. I mean, you have to be realistic.
Right.
But the drive to do all these things is courage,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what my take of it is. So, but with that, the next one we have is following your heart, you know, like we're talking passion. Passion drives you to do stuff, you know, like I've heard of so many people that decided that they weren't going to work anymore, but they're going to do home businesses, or, you know, or they're gonna decide they're gonna paint because they had this idea since they were a kid they wanted to be an artist. I mean, that's where the passion comes from. Me, it's from baking. Like last year, I made 50 baskets of cookies for Christmas. That took a lot of courage. But you know, with that, Deb, you have anything to say on that?
Oh, passion, definitely follow your heart. You know, and you know, the things that we're talking about don't mean that they have to be your primary source of income. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that are doing things like, for instance, you know, I'll take me for example, you know, I'm working as a hairstylist. I love that. I love helping people. My passion is so cool. It's my primary source of income. But then I have other side things that I do because I also have a passion in helping people with health and wellness, you know, and making their, you know, help their bodies be, you know, stronger and better. So, you know, it's follow your heart, follow what makes you happy, because even though it's, you know, courage, you have to be a happy person to be able to follow your heart and do that passion. And if that passion isn't something that's making you enough, you know, income, if it's something, don't make it your primary thing, then make it your side, you know, and still do your career. Don't give up your career and put yourself in a place where you can't afford to live. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and I know many people who have multiple things that they do, which is a great thing, you know. So with that, how about persevering in the face of adversity? When we're afraid, you ought to not occupy yourselves with we neither one of us can talk today to prove that there's no danger. Okay. There's a lot of strength in ourselves. Okay. And you know, a hero is no braver than an ordinary man. Okay. I guess that's what it's trying to say too, that you know there's going to be obstacles, and courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the little voice at the end of the day that's going to say, I'll try again tomorrow. You know, you're not going to always break through and get through what you're trying to do like in one shot, just like some of the people that Lori just mentioned. You know, I've heard some really cool stories. If you get a chance, look up, Google the story of Rocky, of Sylvester Stallone, when he went to go make his movie. It'll fire you up and think like, my goodness, how did he ever do that? You look at him on the big screen and you think, wow, this was an easy thing for him. No, it really wasn't. Not Michael Jordan. I'm not going to quote stuff because I'm definitely not the best at this, but he stumbled many times throughout before he got to where he was. And the same thing like Lori said about Walt Disney. There's so many people, you know. So remember that, you know, you're going to persevere in the face of adversity to you know, with courage to get where you want to do or what you want to be or what you're working through. So
right.
with that, Laura, I'm going to turn it to you.
I just love this one quote here by Mark Twain. You know, everybody loves a Mark Twain. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Isn't that so true? I mean,
Huge.
it's so true. You know, and I think we all really kind of need to hear this today because, you know, it's been a year now that we've kind of been locked out with the pandemic. We're going into spring. People are starting to get shots. People are starting to get out a little bit. We got to have the courage to go back out and live our lives. And I
Mhm.
know we got to do it slowly, but we still have to have the courage. Some of us are still afraid to do it, you
Mhm.
know? And so we really have to start thinking about these positive things instead of the negative things. So courage is a good word to start off Friday. So with that, let me see. Standing up for what is right. Oh, this is huge right now. Huge, huge, huge. You know, we can't sit back anymore as people in this
Mhm.
country or anywhere. We have to stand up for what is right because there's so much diversity going on in the world right now. And we have to stand up for our faith. We have to
Mhm.
stand up for everything. We have to stand up for our kids. We have, you know, if your kids are not going to school and they're doing homeschool, or I shouldn't say homeschool, they're doing the Zoom stuff.
Right.
We have to stick up for our kids. We as adults have to be role models for our children and the next generation. So if our children and our children's children see us fighting for what is right, having the courage to do that, they're going to grow up with a lot of courage. And with that, Debbie, you have anything to say?
Oh, this one hits on point for me right now. So stand up for what is right. I guess you got to say also from speak your mind, even if your voice shakes, even if you've got some, belief that you feel very strong about, and you're in the conviction that you have, or okay, and it could be your religion, it could be
Right.
your faith in some other things I'm not going to mention, like just, or your belief in to do something, to not do something, okay? You have that right, okay, to believe the way you believe. If Lori and I have something that we don't believe on, I completely respect her for everything she believes in, okay? We have a lot of common beliefs, so I'll tell you right now, okay? We
Yeah.
talk all the time, and we talk about how we help each other work through some of the adversities that we deal with on a daily basis within our family unit or outside our family unit, to be courageous, to stand up for what we feel is right. Now, does that mean that I am going to put that in front of somebody's face and kind of like, be mean about it? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It means that I'm going to actually, but I also feel on the other side that someone else should respect me in my belief and how I feel, and there's a lot of that stuff happening right now, more so than I've ever seen in my whole entire life, is being young
Yeah.
to now. This has been the worst this last year, even with beliefs on certain topics that doesn't matter what the topic is, but people are getting in all out like arguments over it, and it's so unhealthy. So you should have the courage, and you shouldn't be afraid to be able to speak about what you believe in. That's where
Right.
that courage comes in, and to be honest and not to lie to somebody, but at the same time, it's different, it's hard, so anyways, with that, I just want to just bring a point up that I know that is really cool that we're going to talk about too, is there's 6 kinds of courage, okay? And and I'm just going to run down them super fast, and I'm just going to say them, and then Lori and I are going to kind of point out a couple things. There's
Okay.
physical courage, there's emotional, there's intellectual, there's social, there's moral, that kind of thing. All these types of courage can happen on a daily basis throughout everything, your daily habits, or things that you're doing, and some of the things that I'm going to just say that I feel like I've had to have courage for is like, building up, a clientele, of clients. Okay. And it's scary at first, do one person, then, you hope you're going to do more, and to get yourself to a point where you feel like you have a successful business, and it takes a leap of faith sometimes to try to do that. And it's also, there's different marketing tools and things that you can do or whatever, but, you won't know unless you try in anything you're going to do. So if you're a person right now that's thinking about a job change, which a lot of people are talking about, a relationship change, maybe there's something toxic going on that you got to get rid of, that, I don't know, or somebody that's, part of your, that is difficult for you right now around you, or and you need to separate maybe away from them, or maybe you've gone through a loss of a loved one, or someone has passed, or you or someone else has an illness. These are really tough subjects, but you're not alone. Okay, there's a lot of other people out there, and also Lori and I talk about this all the time. Seek counsel if you need to.
Yeah.
Seek somebody that can help you, because we get up here and we talk, and we're talking about stuff that we're learning about, and we're trying to like be out there and real. But I think that one thing that happens with what Lori and I have been doing is the subjects that have came up have been placed in our heart for a reason. So we know somebody needs to hear this. We certainly needed to talk about it. You know what I mean? And so for us, we feel like we're hoping that the value that we're putting in this is helping you, or maybe some stuff you're hearing from what we're talking about will help you help someone else. And that's what it should all be about. Friends helping friends. I mean, people getting out there and bringing the best out in people and helping them, or bringing the best out in your own person, So with that, Lori, I know you've got some stuff that you have an exercise and some stuff I don't even know
Yeah.
exactly,
Well,
and I'm excited.
I just want to bring up, I think one of the things I could relate to because of, my disabilities and stuff like that. A lot of people have to have the courage to deal with cancer or anything that's chronic that they're dealing with every day. And that comes from having faith. And that's a courage that comes within themselves, and courage that comes from people around them that support them. So, like I said, we've gone through all different kinds of courage. Okay. So I just like Debbie and I said, we're not experts in this. We're learning too. I was so excited we were doing this because I need the courage. But why I asked you to think of somebody that you admire that has a lot of courage. I'd like you to write the person's name down and maybe spend a few days this week when you're got downtime, you're sitting by the computer, look up a little bit about them, find out what made them so courageous. And maybe that could help you, maybe that could kind of pinpoint where you need to go. Do you have any idea what that, Deb? Do you think that would be great? I think I'm
Oh
gonna do,
yes,
you know,
yes, I love it. I love
yeah.
it. I
And
love it. And oh, sorry.
that's all right. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that what might be cool is like let's just say somebody that you pick, you may be able to find a documentary on that person. You may
Yes.
be able to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot out there. I mean, I'm like the research queen. I could sit and do
Yeah,
research on everybody. But, and it's fun because you learn things that you never knew before. And maybe you could relate to somebody that you're
mhm,
looking up. But I
right.
want you to kind of think of that person this week and kind of think about the courage they did to get where they were at and, what obstacles they went through, because that's important. You learn from your obstacles. So with that, Debbie, that's all I had today.
Well, I love that. I think that's so cool. And it could be, a male figure, a woman figure.
Yeah.
It could be, a group of people. It could be more than one person. It could be, I'm going to post something after we're done here, which is going to be, it's titled What Courage May Look Like. And it has some bullet points of things. And I just thought that it'd be kind of fun for everybody to see. I had found that actually I stole it from someone else actually. So I do that all the time on Facebook, copy and paste stuff all the time. But with that, we want to thank everybody again. You guys, we're growing. We're growing and we're going places. We're having some fun. And, we hope that you guys all enjoy what we're doing. Invite some friends. We have a goal to hit 1,000 people on this group. And I know we're crossing over a hurdle here of we're getting closer and closer. And so we just love having this, and stay tuned because we've got a lineup of a lot of guests for
Yeah.
our midweek. We do on Wednesdays on midweek. We always do, an interview. And Laura, I'm gonna let you close us out.
Okay. With that, you guys have the courage to have an awesome weekend. And
Mm-hmm.
we'll see you on Wednesday. And just look for updates and have a great weekend. God bless you all. Bye bye.
Here, guys. Happy St. Joseph's Day
Yeah. Happy
too.
St. Joseph's Day, right?
Okay. Take care.